What's up, everyone? I'm Tamara, and welcome to Tam Psych Advice. Today, we're going to have a little conversation about FE, which is extroverted feeling, and how it can get in the way sometimes of ENFJ's magical way of interpreting people's feelings, what they're thinking, their likes, their dislikes, ENFJs tend to people watch, and they are supremely interested in people it's like a hobby or a sport almost, in the sense that they like to be tuned in to people, and their feeling preference is a big part of that. They are very known for being highly intuitive. That means they trust their gut feeling. They read people with great accuracy. But there are times when their accuracy might be a little bit off, and it could be because of their feeling function. Their feeling function is very strong. It's very extroverted. It's the first thing that you see when you meet an ENFJ is their feeling function. And so they are interested in being warm and engaging when it comes to people and making people feel special, making people feel heard, helping people to feel very understood, really being there if someone is having an issue or a problem or they're having a difficult time. But they also love connecting with people. They can be very passionate about that. As an ENFJ, you might think that there are a few people who just don't like you. You feel like they don't like you at all. And you're usually pretty clear on that. But then there might be, for example, a couple of people out there that you're kind of having a hard time gauging because you're picking up on someone else's energy field, and you have to be careful not to project your energy field onto everyone else's. There are people who are introverted. There are people who are straight to the point. There are people who are not very warm. They're kind of cold, or they're not necessarily rigid, but they kind of have a dry personality to them, and so they just don't express themselves in the same way that an ENFJ does. And so you're giving a warm reaction, but you're not necessarily getting that back from other people. You have to keep in mind that it has nothing to do with you personally, because the ENFJ is so sensitive to nuances and to little teeny tiny unnoticeable things that just to other people they wouldn't even pick up on it. ENFJ kind of has a radar on sensing people, so their feelers, their tentacles are always out lurking, sensing, feeling, interpreting. It just comes very naturally to them, and so sometimes they may pick up on an energy that they're like, what is up with this? I'm being really friendly to this person, and we've had some really great interactions, and then other times the person is just, hello, hi, barely speaking. It's not you, it's them. Haven't you heard that phrase, right? People use that phrase all the time with relationships, right? But here's something that I want to teach you, okay? So there are people in the world who are left slanters, for example, when they are writing. So take a look at your handwriting. Does it slant to the right, or does it slant to the left? So the direction of the slant is very telling. A right slant is more common. That means your writing is leaning to the right. It means that you like to work and meet with new people. But a left slant means you prefer to keep to yourself. Left slanters also tend to be reserved and introspective, right? Left slanted handwriting people tend to be emotionally withdrawn. A writer is inclined towards releasing energy inwardly towards himself or herself rather than outwardly towards others. This person would rather be in the background than to be front and center. This person may have gone through some tough things in their life and they learned not to get too emotional about things. They don't trust their emotionality. Now, you might think this is introversion. I would say, because it's such a rare trait, that an introversion is a rare trait. So I think a lot of people who are introverted may have this slant, but not necessarily. There are introverts who have a right slant. They feel very emotionally involved and connected with people and all of that. So not necessarily. Extroversion and introversion can be seen in how big someone writes or how tiny someone writes. If somebody is a tiny writer, then they probably are going to also have great concentration skills. So I've known people who are very peoply and extroverted who write very small too. So it's a little tricky, but a lot of people who write really big, that is definitely a big clue that the person is extroverted and likes to be the center of attention at times. So I say all of that to say that you may come across a left slanter. They may look at you kind of blank. They may not emote very much. They might have a more rigid way of speaking, and you just feel like you can't get a lot out of them. It has nothing to do with you. It has to do with what they've been through in their lives. And when you work with people like that, they can actually seek help for people. They may kind of go to the other extreme on being extra sensitive to people or children having problems or issues, and they may take something that's rather small and make it really big because maybe in some of those cases their emotional needs weren't met the way that they needed to have them. So they are hypersensitive to that. Some of them have been through a little bit of trauma or a lot of trauma, or maybe not trauma, but just they went through some things potentially in their life. So if you're married or in a relationship with a left slanter, if you're not also a left slanter, that could be a troublesome relationship, because it's like trying to squeeze a rock like it's an orange. Like you keep looking for the emotions and you're not getting it. I say this to say that sometimes, our introverted intuition as an ENFJ is constantly looking and interpreting, and sometimes it has to be retrained in some area. So it can be really surprising when you have somebody that's kind of in their own little world all the time, and then one day it's after work and they're bubbly and friendly again, like, hi. And then you're like, wait a minute, I'm thinking that I'm going to stop saying hello to you and being friendly because of the responses that I'm getting. But maybe you like my friendliness and my warmth. So still be you, but I guess just be a little cautious with being quick to judge or to think that because someone kind of goes inward or they're in their own little world, it's how they navigate personally. It's not you. So your feelings in that sense can totally get in the way, because I think ENFJs can be sensitive to rejection, sensitive to wanting to connect with people. I think that's important to us as extroverts. So just keep that in mind. Definitely check out my other ENFJ videos. I have a ton of videos in my playlist. And I also wrote 2 books, Flip the Script on Love and The Workplace NaRCISSiST. Both of those will help you navigate people, and I wrote it from an ENFJ perspective, my own thought process. So I'll put the link in the description box, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.